Hello guys, I am Flash Isaac. If you are offering mathematics in Uniben post UTME, then this video is for you. I'll be taking you through Uniben mathematics post UTME questions and answer, and what to do if you come across similar questions. I promise to make this class very simple, and feel free to subscribe to this channel now to get updates on my new videos concerning Uniben and other academic tutorials. Take a look at this question. It says, find the remainder when the polynomial function of s equals this is divided by 2s plus 1. So these are the options A to D when it is divided. Now, to divide polynomials, we apply the knowledge of long division. This is your divisor. It will be here. It's what we are using to divide. Then the polynomial will be inside here. It's 5. Then we solve for the remainder. Now, to solve polynomials or to divide polynomials, you look for the variable with the highest power here and the variable with the highest power here. For here, it is s squared. While for here, it's simply s raised to the power of 1. So you divide this by this. Put your answer here. Now, practical. 2s squared divided by 2s. So 2 divided by 2 will give you 1. S squared divided by s. So this s would cancel one of the s. So you'll be left with s. This implies that 2s squared divided by 2s is equals s. Now that you have that, use this s to multiply these guys. It will give you s times 2s is 2s squared. Then s again times 1 is s. So this will give you plus s. After this step, subtract. You draw a line here, minus here, subtract. There's nothing here, so here you can take it as 0. Leave it blank or put 0. Minus 5 minus 0 or minus nothing will give you minus 5. You have minus 5. Then here is minus 5s minus s. So minus 5s minus plus s or s is simply minus 5s minus s. This will give you minus 6s. You're owing 5s, you bought another 5s, added to it will give you minus 6s. So here is minus 6s. Then 2s squared minus 2s squared is 0. So we've done the first stage. The next step is to continue the same pattern. This is minus 6s, this is 2s. Which variable has the highest power here? This is 0, this is s raised to the power of 1. So we use this minus 6s to divide this guy again. Minus 6s divided by 2s is something like this. So s cancels s, minus 6 divided by 2 will give you minus 3. So this implies that we have minus 3 here. Similarly, use this minus 3 to multiply these guys. To have minus 3 times 2s would give you minus 6s. Minus 3 times plus 1 would give you minus 3. We've multiplied. The next step is to subtract, just like we did earlier. So minus 5 minus, then here is minus 3. Minus 3 is the same thing as minus 5 plus 3. Minus 5 plus 3 is minus 2. So here is minus 2. Minus 6s minus 6s give you minus 6s plus 6s, which is 0. So you have 0 here. 0 minus 2 is simply minus 2. So our answer is minus 2. In polynomial, when you solve, what you get here at the end is called the remainder. Then here is called the quotient, and this is the divisor. And the question is asking for the remainder. What is the remainder when this is divided by this? So this is the remainder, minus 2. You simply come here and say minus 2, correct answer. Then your life goes on. So let's look at the next question. Now look at this beautiful question. It says, I am 8 years old and my brother is 3 years older. That means it's referring to my elder brother. It's older than I am. How old was my brother last year? So these are your options. Now, you start with my age. What is my age? My age is equals S. Now, if my brother is 3 years older than I am, it means my brother is my age plus 3, right? So this means my brother or my brother's age will be equals S plus 3. So this is my age now, and this is my brother's age now, S plus 3. Now, how old was my brother last year? That means last year, my brother was 1 year less. Because while celebrating your birthday, you say, I'm 1 year older. So if you're not referring to your last year birthday, you're not 1 year lesser. So it means my age now minus 1. So last year, you were S minus 1. Then your brother was, or should be S plus 3 minus 1, which is minus 1 year. So S plus 3 minus 1 is equals S plus 2. So that means your brother was S plus 2 years old last year. The answer is S plus 2, that's C. That's the correct option. If M varies directly as n cubed or n raised to the power of 3, and M is equals 3 when n equals 2, find M when n is equal to 4. And these are the options. This question is under variation, and as the question implies, it says varies directly. So this is a direct variation question. For direct variation, it simply means A or S varies directly as Y. That's direct variation. As S increases, Y also increases. Then as S reduces, Y also reduces. Now if you look at it, this is a variation sign or proportionality sign. It's not an equality sign. To solve questions, we need an equality sign. In this case, we need to convert this proportionality sign to equality sign. To change proportionality to equality sign, simply change this proportionality to equals K. So in that case, we can say this one is equivalent to equal to K, because it's equals to constant times Y. It's not exactly equal to. So in that case, we can change this to S is equals KY for direct variation. With this, we can go ahead to look for the constants and solve variation questions. I've done change of subject formula and I've a video on variation. If you still don't understand, you can go through those videos for better understanding. Now look at the question. It says M varies directly as n cubed. M is proportional to n cubed. And like I explained earlier, it is M is equals Kn cubed. Changing proportionality to equality sign. And it says when M is equals 3, as M is equals 3, N is equal to 2. It now stops, comma. Find M when N is equals 4. Now, look at this. Trying to change this proportionality sign to equality sign, we encountered a constant. So we need to look for the value of this constant with these two values we already have. Therefore, substituting M is equals 3. So we put 3 here. Is equals K. N is equal to 2. So instead of N here, we put 2. So we have 2 but the 2 is raised to the power of 3. So you have 3 here. So 3 will be equals 2 raised to the power of 3 is 8. 2 times 2 times 2. So this is 8k. Making k subject formula, we divide both sides by 8 to ensure that this one goes. So k becomes 3 over 8. We found the constant. Now let's go to the question. It says find m when n is equals 4. And the relationship between m and n is simply this relationship between m and n. M is equals kn raised to the power of 3. And they are not saying that we should find m when n is equals 4. So now we don't know m. M is equals k. We found k, which is 3 over 8. 3 over 8 times the new value of n, which is 4. But this 4 this time is raised to the power of 3. So 4 raised to the power of 3. Or you can do it this way. Then you solve. M is equals 3 over 8 times 4 raised to the power of 3 is something as 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 here will give you 2. So if you divide this 2 by this 4, you have 2. In this case, you are left with 3 times 2 times 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. So that's your answer. And it is what? Option A. That's your answer. Amazing, right? Now take a look at this question. Given that P of S is equal to 2s raised to the power of 3 plus 5s squared minus 9s minus 18. Find P of minus 1. These are the options. It says P of S equals this. It means that this expression is equals P of S. That means we are having S here, we are having S here, and we are having S. But that's not what we want. We should look for P of minus 1. Instead of S, put minus 1. In this case, we are substituting minus 1 for S in this polynomial. Solution. P of S is equals 2s raised to the power of 3 plus 5s raised to the power of 2 minus 9s minus 18. In this case, P of minus 1 will be equals to, instead of S, it will be minus 1. Minus 1 raised to the power of 3 plus 5. Instead of S, we are now substituting minus 1. So this will be minus 1, but it's still raised to the power of 2. Minus 9. Instead of 9s, it's now 9, then minus 1. Minus 18. With this, be happy. If you have water beside you, you can just enjoy your life because you've done the major work. Now let's simplify. This is 2. Now, minus 1 raised to the power of 3 is minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1. Minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. Plus 1 times minus 1 will give you minus 1. So this will remain minus 1 plus 5. Then minus 1 squared is the same thing as minus 1 times minus 1, in which minus times minus is plus, and 1 times 1 is 1. So when you are squaring a negative number, it becomes positive. So this will give you 1. Then minus 9 times minus 1. Minus times minus is plus. 9 times 1 is 9. Then minus 18. We proceed. 2 times minus 1 will give you minus 2. Plus 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 9 minus 18. Now, minus 2 plus 5. You can take it this way. You are owing somebody 2 and you have 5. So paying the person, you still have 3. So this is 3. 3 plus 9 is 12. So 12 minus 18. Look at it. 12 minus 18. You have 12. You are owing somebody 18. If you pay this 12 naira to the person you are owing 18 naira, you still be owing the person 6. So that 6 is not for you. You are owing. So it is minus 6. This question says, calculate the compound interest on 2,000 naira for 2 years at 10% per annum, which implies 10% per year. And these are the options. Compound interest is equals to amount minus principal. That's compound interest, the amount that accumulates minus your principal. And amount is equals P bracket 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power of n, where n is the period. So in this case, we are calculating for 2 years. N is equals 2. And R is your rate, which is 10%. And your principal is 2,000 naira, the amount invested. So to calculate amount will equals 2,000 1 plus 10 over 100 raised to the power of 2. This is same thing as 2,000. You look for the LCM, which is 100. 100 divided by 1 is 100 times 1. 100 divided by 100 is 1. 1 times 10 is 10 plus 10 square. So in this case, you have this would give you 2,420 naira. So this is your amount. And remember that compound interest is amount minus principal. So having this amount, and this is your principal, amount minus principal is 2420 minus principal, which is 2,000 naira. So this will give you 420 naira. So that's your compound interest on 2,000 naira for 2 years. Log root 35 to base 10 plus log of root 2 with base 10 minus log of root 7 with base 10. And these are the answers. Without the use of table, evaluate this. Now, to solve this logarithmic question, is simply to break it down. Like I said earlier, I've already treated logarithm. Go to flashlearners.com. Under videos, you see all my mathematics videos, or search Flash Learners on YouTube. You will see my mathematics videos. I've done a lot in mathematics. Log this plus this plus this. We are solving without the use of table. So what we'll do is to simplify, to break it down. Let's see whether we can manipulate to get something that can eliminate 2 or 7, or let's see what we can remove to make stuff simpler. And while doing that, also have it at the back of your mind that we are trying to arrive at one of these options. So in this case, we must do something to eliminate the roots. Looking at this question, the first thing that comes to my mind is log root 35 with base 10 is the same thing as log root 7 times 5. Yes. So we can rewrite that question as that. We can rewrite it as that. Now, rewriting that as that is the same thing as log root 7 times root 5 plus root 7. Now, having this is multiplying. It is the same thing as log 10 root 7 plus log 10 root 5. So that's how you convert multiplication to addition. So this can be written in this form. And if you're also given this, you can put it in that form. You take one of the base, you multiply this log, then you arrive at this. Then plus log 10 root 2 minus log 10 root 7. Now, you notice something. We have log root 7 with base 10 minus log root 7 with base 10. It means that we can say log minus plus so this minus this would cancel. So you are left with that. Now, look at what we did here. We changed multiplication to addition. This implies that we can also change this addition to multiplication to combine these two guys. That would be log base 10. So we are taking 1 since the bases are the same. We have root 5 times root 2, which is equals root 10. It's making a lot of sense, right? So with this, remember that root 10 is equals 10 raised to the power of 1 over 2. That is it. So this can further break down to then 10 raised to the power of 1 over 2. So we've manipulated, we've simplified to make sure that this and this are the same. And following the law of logarithm, you can check my video on that. The law states that once you have this log raised to the power, once a logarithm has power, you can bring the power down this way to have and also in the same law of logarithm, if you have log and once the base and log are the same, log 10 with base 10 is equals 1. This implies that this will be remaining 1 over 2 times 1, which is equals 1 over 2. So your answer becomes 1 over 2. Everything you are seeing here that are very long, they can be simplified to give you 1 over 2. And the option is what? Option D. So that's the answer to that question. Okay, this question says the distance between points this and this is 5. So find P. These are the distance between the 2 points coordinates. So this is your S1. This is your S2. So this is your first Y, which is Y1, and this is your Y2. And they are telling us that the distance between these 2 points is equals 5. So point P and minus P, that's what we are looking for. Now to look for distance between 2 points, let's say this point, let's say A and B, you are looking for this distance. It is equals square root of S1 minus S2 square plus Y1 minus Y2 square. So that's the formula for solving distance. Now, this is the formula. And they already told us that the distance is equals 5. This means we already have the distance, which is equal to 5. Then, let's substitute. S1 is equals P. So the coordinate of S1, or the value of S1 is now P. So we have P minus S2. S2 is minus P. And minus, so this is minus P. Then you square it. Plus Y1 minus Y2. So, like I've already labeled, this is your Y1 and this is your Y2. So Y1 minus Y2 is 3 minus 2 square. So we've substituted. Let's break it down. You have 5 is equal to P minus times minus is plus. So this will give you plus P. So P plus P all squared. plus 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 square. This is the same thing as 5 is equal to p plus p is 2p. So 2p square. Remember, it is 2p, everything squared, not 2p square. This is different from this because in this one, the square is not affecting the 2. But in this one, it is 2 square p square, and which will give you 4p square. So you have this plus 1 square. Now, to remove square root, we look for the square of both sides. That's how you remove square root in mathematics. While to remove cube roots, you look for the cube of both sides. So if you have a square here and a square here, this square will remove this square root because square root is the same thing as root to the power of 1 over 2 times 2 will give you 1. So this will be 5 square is equals 2p square plus 1 square. So we've removed the square root. 5 square is 25 and 2p all squared is 4p squared, like I solved earlier. So here you have 4p squared plus 1. 1 square is 1. So let's take this to this side. That's collecting like terms. Bringing 1 this way will be 25 minus 1 is equals 4p squared. 25 minus 1 is 24. So 24 is equals 4p squared. Dividing both sides by 4. This 4 cancels this 4. So p squared is equals 24 over 4. P squared is equals square root of 24 over 4, which is, to remove this square, we look for the square root of this one. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So 24 divided by 4 is 6. So your answer is square root of 6. Let's look at the options. Okay, we already have square root of 6. No need to break it down. So the distance between the points is 5. P is equal to square root of 6. That's the answer. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 36. Find the middle one. Very short and straightforward question. It said the sum of 3 consecutive integers or sum of 3 consecutive numbers is 36. Now consecutive means the numbers are following each other's. So it means 3 numbers that are following each other's, once you add them together, you get 36. Now, what is the middle number? Before we look for the middle number, let's look for the numbers first and see what they would represent. Now, consecutive number. So let the first number be S. Let's say, okay, the first number is S. If the first number is S, it means that the second number is S plus 1 because they are following, they are increasing. So plus the second number is S plus 1. And the third number will be what? S plus 2. Now, since they said 3, we've gotten 1, 2, 3. So we'll stop. If it were to be 4, we'll continue. The fourth one will be S plus 3 and so on. So they said it's sum. Sum means addition. So we'll add these 3 consecutive numbers. They say we'll get 36. And they're asking us for the middle one. And looking at these numbers, this is the first, second, and third. This is the middle number, right? Now looking at the option, there's something like this. It means they want value. We need to solve for S. How do we do that? This is the same thing as S plus times everything here will give you plus S plus 1. Plus times everything here will give you the same thing as plus S plus 2 equals 36. So let's add like terms. We have S here, we have S, we have S. S plus S plus S, that means 3S. 3S. Then you have 1 here, you have 2. 1 plus 2 will give you 3. So this is equals 36. So 3s is equals, let's take this guy to this side. It's already plus 3. As it crosses, it becomes minus 3. So this will give you 36 minus 3. 3s is equals 36 minus 3 is 33. So let's solve for s by dividing both sides by 3 so that this 3 will be out of here. So s will be equals 11. This is 11, but this is not the answer because we just solved for s. They didn't ask us for the numbers also. So we are asked for the middle one. And like I told you, the middle one is s plus 1. But now we know what s is. So s is 11. S plus 1 is equals 11 plus 1, which is 12. So the middle number is 12.